Steve, you got any thoughts tonight? It's Pride Night. Got any thoughts on that? It's in some ways become a divisive issue of all things, but anyway, any thoughts?
I love Pride Night. I love the vibe in this city. I think it's it shouldn't be a divisive issue. I'm glad I live in the Bay. I'm glad we celebrate diversity, celebrate unity, and it'll be a good night for us tonight.
What do you think of the Clippers and kind of how they're built, and in some ways the similarities from a veteran standpoint to y'all?
Clippers are awesome. They're a two-way monster. They play both ends. They got great size. They've got two guys who can get a shot anytime they want, get to the foul line. I thought they were one of the very best teams in the league last year, going into the playoffs, and happened to play one of the other best teams in the league in the first round. But it's a great team, and they've given us all we can handle the last couple of years. So we've got a good challenge ahead of us tonight.
Hey, Steve, you talked last night about how well the young guys played, guys like Kuminga and Moody and Podziemski. I'm just wondering, with tonight being a back-to-back, how big is that as far as sort of preserving the minutes for guys like Steph and Jimmy and Draymond? And obviously Horford didn't play last night.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to not have anybody up more than 30 minutes, and hopefully that serves us well tonight. This will be our 5th game in 8 days to start the year, which is a pretty tough schedule. So I'm really proud of the guys for getting to this situation in the position we are, 3-1. Heading out on the road tomorrow. So this would be a great one to win. But I'm pleased with the approach and the way guys have handled themselves and the physical condition everybody's in. We're in a good place, knock on wood.
Steve, 2 questions. One, kind of following up on that. You've talked a lot about how you're managing minutes going back to back. What about a stretch like this? I think you're 10 of your next 12 on the road. And as you pointed out, you've been busy leading into that. How much do you sort of juggle minutes and be mindful of the cumulative effect of a couple of weeks?
I think depth is the name of the game in the NBA today. I think it's showing all around the league. You look at, we have all, you guys know this, we have so much data now, we don't know what to do with it. But one of the pieces of data that we have is the distance our players run, the speed at which they run. Compared to 20 years ago, it's dramatically different. So the stress on these guys' bodies, I think, is way more than what it was in the past. Everyone talks about the physicality of the past, and it's true. It was a more physical, low post type game. You throw it into the post and very little spacing. Everybody's bumping into each other. But I think if you'd ask any athlete, it's a lot easier to do that than to constantly sprint and press and play full court basketball. And a lot of hamstring injuries around the league so far early in the year. So I think we know, the league knows, every team knows that the stress that is being put on our players is just at a higher level than ever before. So teams are getting smart and using a lot of depth, playing 10, 11 guys, and we're going to do that too.
The other question, not really related, but you've talked a lot about Kuminga's rebounding, obviously his first 4 games, and he's talked about just being committed to that. What is it about? It's more than just his mindset and go get rebounds. I mean, what makes him just the athleticism, the strength? What has allowed him to take this significant jump?
Honestly, I think you said it in the beginning. I think it's just mindset. If there's no technique that's happening, that's been a shift. It's just a desire to go get the ball over and over again, and he's doing a phenomenal job of that. And it just changes our team. You can feel it. And then I thought last night he had several plays where, he could have taken a shot. Instead, he went dribble handoff with Steph, dive to the rim. He's dunking the ball. Like, that's the guy. So I could not be happier with JK's play, his approach, his communication with me, with his teammates. he's really off to a great start, and I'm happy for him, happy for us, because we're a much better team with him playing like this.
James Harden has 60 career starts against Golden State, the most of any opponent.
Who's that?
James Harden.
James yeah.
Harden. And you've coached a lot of those teams and against James. As you look at this period of time, like, have you seen an evolution in James's game? Have you seen any changes in what he's doing?
Well, he's been brilliant for a long time. I think he has most underrated part of James's game is his brain at both ends. He's a really crafty defender. Teams want to pick on him, so they put him in pick and roll. He switches. All of a sudden, he's guarding a low post guy. He's got really quick hands. He gets his hands on a lot of balls. Steals, gets a lot of steals. I think he's a much better defender than he's given credit for. And then at the offensive end, I mean, he just knows how to draw fouls. He's as good as anybody in the league at drawing contact and putting the defense in a really bad position. He's a brilliant player, and he has been for a long, long time.
Oh, Steve, Tyronn Lue said it. He expects to take a month or two for his team to get their chemistry and rotations in shape, kind of. And I know you maybe anticipated something like that, but it seems like things are maybe falling together in place quicker than you would have thought. Is that fair
Well,
to say?
we're only 4 games in, so I don't want to say we've figured everything out, but I think we have an idea of what we're going to do rotation-wise, and we're in a pretty good groove so far this season, and the biggest question marks for us are when we play a big center like Klingon in Portland the other night, like Zubats tonight. Do we want to start Draymond or not? And that's where the decision making begins for us. Is Al playing or is Al not playing? Those are the decisions that are the triggers to our decision making. But when I look at our group right now, even without Melt, we can go 11 or 12 deep and feel very comfortable with that.
Obviously, everything can change and matchups and all the rest. But J.K. has started every game, been very good, obviously, in every game. Do you consider him a starter at this point? Obviously, things can change, but is he a starting player?
Yes. Yeah. He'll start tonight, and he'll be our starter going forward. He's been fantastic, and last night we put him on Ja. Tonight we'll put him on James Harden. I think he's ready to take on that role defensively, and what he's doing offensively, the decision making, the shot selection. You've hardly seen any of the mid shot clock 17-foot pull-ups. You're seeing him being much more purposeful, getting the ball to Jimmy, getting the ball to Steph, attacking the rim. He's really putting a lot of pressure on people. So, the biggest thing is the combination of Jimmy and Draymond and J.K. wasn't great last year, but because of all the improvements J.K. has made, his passing and in the stuff I just mentioned, it's really clicking, and so we're going to stay with that.
I know is a little part of this just maybe being able to combo his minutes with Steph a lot of the time because he's starting, so you're going to get 6 minutes, 6.5, 8, whatever minutes it's going to be with him and Steph.
Yeah, that helps too. I mean, just the pick and roll threat with him diving, and I think just having those guys together, but also having Jimmy and Draymond, just the IQ on the floor. With that starting group, would help anybody. But the worry last year was just a lack of spacing, and of course the only time we got to try it was at the end of the year when we were rolling with Moses in the starting lineup, and J.K. when he came back at the end of the year was not the same guy he was before he got hurt. When he got hurt in January, he was playing at a really high level, and so the circumstances were really tough on him last year. This has been a clean slate, and he has taken advantage of the opportunity and then some.
Al hasn't played since the Denver game.
Yeah.
Does that allow you to stretch him out a little bit tonight, or what's kind of the plan?
Well, a little bit. I mean, I think in general, we want to keep, pretty consistent with the minutes. And I just, talking to Rick, if we can, keep him in that 22-minute range all year long. Because the biggest thing is come playoff time, is he fresh and ready? And if that's the case, there's never any back-to-backs, and, maybe we can bump his minutes up a little bit. But we want to try to be disciplined. I think in the Denver game he got up to 28 or something. But, it's going to happen in those games where he's closing. And so there's not like a hard and fast number on this, but we just want to be consistent with the approach.
Steve, Zubats has really turned into an elite big man in the league, developed into his own, obviously. What makes him so effective on both sides of the ball?
He's really smart on the defensive end. He's got a great coaching staff. Ty and Jeff Van Gundy running their defense. Like, those guys are brilliant, and they've got a great scheme, and they've been working together now for years. So the continuity is there. Offensively, he's just really old school. Either hand at the rim, using his size and footwork, and finds a way to work his way right to the basket, and great touch around the hoop. So I think he's an all-star caliber player.
Since Mose came back, he shot the ball really well last night. But I was wondering, defensively, you've called him your best point of attack defender. Since he's come back, have you seen any rust or anything like that? Or has he pretty much picked up right where he left off last season?
Well, there was a little rust in the Portland game, but he obviously found his groove last night. And we'll see how he is tonight coming off the back-to-back, missing whatever it was, 2 weeks during camp. It doesn't quite allow you to build that foundation. So I'm interested to see how he looks tonight. But overall, there are no concerns. We know that, given the time to find his way, he's going to get there. And last night was a great example of that.
Steve, Santa Clara, since we're on the theme of college basketball with your shirt, but Santa Clara has a guard from Africa who Thierry Darlin, and he played in the G League for the G League Ignite 2 years ago, and now he's at Santa Clara. I mean, do you appreciate that collegiate structure for a lot of guys? I know everybody has a different path, but could that only benefit him as he makes that jump, especially being across the world?
You know me, I'm all for more experience for guys before they come to the NBA. I think it can only help the reps. And I actually saw him play in Cairo in the summer of 22 in Basketball Without Borders, and hell of a talent, really talented guy. And I suppose I could get in some trouble because he's draft eligible, and I don't think I can say anything more than that, or I'm going to get fined, right, Raymond? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
that's
wasn't
all right.
thinking
That's
along
all right.
those
Yeah.
lines.
It just dawned on me too. Yeah, good kid. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.